Great to have you today.
Pleasure to be part of this.
Nice. My name is Wanjiku Wambugu. I am the co-founder of Ecobiz Sacco, and I also sit in the board as the treasurer. Ecobiz Sacco is my brainchild, and I'm so passionate about it. I'm also very passionate about creatives. I consider myself as a creative, but maybe in a different space. But today, I have a guest. A guest some of you viewers may know or may not know. So he is a creative, and he's going to tell us who he is and tell us more again. Why is he a different creative from myself? Karibu sana.
Asante. Yes, my name is Clifford Okumu. I am a filmmaker and a creative entrepreneur. I've been doing film production and TV production for almost 12 years now. Yes.
Anyone who doesn't know about film, creative, what would that be? Our children today might come up with those terms and professions, and they're thinking, no, they should actually become engineers and lawyers. Yeah. Maybe you can fafanua for us what that is all about.
Okay, maybe filmmaking is basically the process of producing content for consumption rather for a mass audience through screens, which is conventionally TV. In other setups, it could be cinema, if we are going large scale. Mm-hmm. So I produce movies, say for the layman language, and I write, direct, and produce TV dramas locally. And I think probably some of the most watched TV programs right now that I've been part of and I've had the privilege to work with. I managed to direct Selena season 1 and 2, and I came to write and edit scripts for Pete from season 1 up to now. Yeah.
Wow. I'm a big fan of Pete. We saw it yesterday in Kwale. Yeah. We saw someone wearing a reflector jacket of Pete, and we were very excited because we follow Pete.
That's a production crew. They are set in Kwale, somewhere in Mfunzi.
We've been there as well as the Ecobiz Sacco team to tell them about the Sacco. So I'm glad to hear that other than being a creative, Cliff, you're also an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And in my space, when I've interacted with many creatives, I miss the word entrepreneurship. And I'm in the space of an SME, and I always miss that creatives could also be in the same space with SMEs. What are they missing? What can you tell them about that?
I think generally it's an individual decision or a personal decision, because not everyone can enter into the space of becoming an entrepreneur. But I believe anyone can choose to and go the whole mile and become an entrepreneur. But of course, it comes with a lot of convictions and perseverance. Of course, it's like business, basically. And I've been fortunate enough, I think 10 years ago, I attended a 14-day training of becoming a creative entrepreneur amongst other peers who varied from being, painters, dancers, musicians, actors, producers like myself, camera people, basically every other form of creative work, be it performing, arts, fine arts, so to speak. We were taken through the process of earning money rather than just passion through our work. And we were also exposed to the possibility that I can be a filmmaker, but I can also invest in another business. And I think every other filmmaker will agree with me that our work, especially in this country, is mostly seasonal. Most filmmakers produce one movie in a year, if they're lucky. Some probably 2 or 3 years. One movie. You cannot survive with one movie for that long. Same applies to even TV content. I'm lucky to be in Pete right now, but chances are Pete will not survive for the next 3, 4, 5 years. We are lucky if we get another contract for 3, 4, 5 years. But in the event that we don't, most of the crew or cast members end up becoming, so to speak, unemployed.
Yeah.
because they're out of a contract. We work mostly on contracts. Now, if you're a young person, it's fleeting to be part of a very big crew and cast and you're on TV every day. But then reality settles in when now you have other bigger responsibility. Yes, you're getting a check of whatever amount of money that you felt was adequate at the point you're getting that money. But if other responsibilities come in and that source of income is cut short, then you find yourself in a very precarious situation. So yeah, so as an entrepreneur, which I'm happy I came to learn about entrepreneurship, you learn to create some sort of a buffer for when you don't have work to do. So you invest in other small businesses. Even a boda is a business. Because you might assume 400 per day is a little money, but if you are not using 400 per day, of course you are getting your salary from whatever contract. But if you have 400 every day that you're not using, and you'll use that money after 6 months, that's some good money as you wait for another contract. If you invest in creating beads, I know some ladies create beads, blah, 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 on the side. You might sell one for 200, 300, but that is a side hustle. And you, by definition, are an entrepreneur because you're filling an economical void that's required you to. Say, for example, there is a need for people to get, right now, every entrepreneur worth his salt has gone into producing masks because of the corona pandemic right now. Because someone has figured, because entrepreneurship is about identifying problems and creating solutions for those problems while making whatever back in the process.
Yeah, there's some value you're creating, so you make money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you realize, yes, masks are in demand, of course you could get some from hospital, blah, blah, because of the surgical masks and stuff like that, but they are not enough for everyone. And for those surgical masks, most of them are, you wear and throw away. But people came up with ways of, you can buy 2 or 3 that you can wash and reuse. Yes. It's a way of making money in the process. So most entrepreneurs, even those who didn't consider themselves entrepreneurs in this pandemic moment, became entrepreneurs without actually planning on it. But it needs to be intentional that this is what I'm doing. In the event I can't get money from here. And some people are just full entrepreneurs for that matter. You're not necessarily doing any other thing. You are just fully, say, working in the taxi business, or you are working in groceries. Right now people are also delivering groceries to people at home because of course you are told not to interact in larger crowds of population because of social distancing. So yeah, you find a need that someone of course has to cook. They might have the money in their phones, but they don't have the means to go to Congoe or whatever other place to buy their groceries. So you offer to deliver on their doorsteps.
That's true.
Yeah, and that is an aspect of entrepreneurship. So I engage in 1 or 2 of those aspects.
I like the bit where you say, and that's why I share quite a lot with you in terms of if I'm getting 200 bob extras and I'm not using it because I have a salary, and this is money that I can put aside.
Yes.
And for sometimes, even if it's 200 bob in 1 year, that will be like how much in a year is 200 times 12 is around 2,400.
Yes.
But this is money that you're not spending; you're just keeping it aside. It's I would call it some sort of your passion.
Yes.
But you're saying something else that you have to be deliberate about it. I'll give you a story. Even when I am running the business that I run today, because there's one business where I was selling water. I was a supplier of Keringet water, and I could come from home with some orders. As I come to the office, I would deliver them. There's a shop down here, 2 or 3, that I could deliver, say, like 4 bottles of water. And I could make maybe 300 per bottle. And I could come back to the office feeling, even if I'm waiting for my salary today, I have put in around 2,000 dollars, and even before I get my salary. And there's no good feeling than that. It might look little, but it's not little, because this is money I'm not going to use. It is going straight to the bank. I used to have a messenger here who could come before they go to the bank to ask me whether, "Madam, do you have anything to bank?" When I stopped that business, he kept coming. Bank, was feeling very bad. I was wishing I could bank something.
Exactly, yeah.
And now I don't have that anymore. It makes me feel like I'm not actually now saving enough. Now coming back to the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, it's a poverty. It's a poverty pandemic. What to say? And there's no better time than to become creative.
Yeah.
And not just become creative for passion now. This is why you eat on your passion. How do you then start to sell this passion? Whatever I do with my passion, then I can be able to make money out of it. And that is the same thing you're saying. Sometimes you don't even need to invest in another business. Maybe no one has talked to them, like you were lucky, got someone to tell you about it. Then they don't know, but they haven't been able to commercialize what is it that they call their passion. So when you've seen that even now we're having maybe people calling for donations to give to the creatives and so on. What would you say about that? Yet these are people, in my view, creatives are people who come from, they are not average. They're actually average plus. They are above average. What is this gap? Why are they not fitting in the SME space, yet they have a lot to sell? They are not the average kid, for instance.
Okay. We have to appreciate that coronavirus got people, flat-footed. Whether you are employed or not, for some reason, it's paralyzed, one or two of us. The salary probably either were laid off or were cut some percentage of their salaries. So now, if we come to creatives, like I said, majority, I don't want to say everyone, probably there are one or two people who have means to fend for themselves, even in this pandemic. But the general sense you get is that most not filmmakers, but creatives in general, do not have contingencies plans in the event, not even coronavirus, anything else befalls them. So yes, you get whatever amount you get as a salary. Most of us are quick to run into luxuries because tunasema lazima nipigie moyo shukrani, nirudishie moyo shukrani. So utarudishia moyo shukrani, you'll go to whatever joint. Drink a percentage of your salary every other month because you're returning some sort of shukrani to your body. Okay? 2, life has a lot of demands in terms of expenditures and such like things. If we don't know how to control expenditures and define what is necessary expenditure, what is unnecessary, what is urgent and what is also urgent, I think some of these, which I think institutions like yourself might need to come to our sector of creatives to probably educate us more. Because most people do not understand in terms of expenditures what is very important for them to spend on. So say you get 10,000. What do you do first? Do you save first? Do you run to pay rent first? Do you eat? Or do you solve a problem that has been bugging you over and over? See, all those. Debts, yes. Yeah. So all these are things that follow us every other day. And as an individual who has whatever little money that you have, you are faced with the decisions to make, like, do I pay this, pay that, pay that? At the end of the day, you have nothing left. So now, it is the 6th or 7th of the month, you are now waiting for another end month. Which most people do. They tell you, paka end month, it's even 10th. And paka, end month is 3 weeks away. So what are we doing between now and end month? Okay? So it means, to a larger degree, most Kenyans, despite the fact that creatives are probably less endowed with that kind of knowledge, we are living hand to mouth, so to speak. So the day you cut off our salaries, we are back to zero. Okay? So the best thing first for our sector of creatives, however difficult it is, because we know tomorrow there might not be a contract for us to work, is to save first. Second, which now depends on your preferences, is to invest again. Whatever savings you have, you can invest. And saving can be also a form of investment, however you look at it. You save as you invest as you save, so to speak. So when a situation like this, at least 2-3 months, you have something to buffer you before you start rushing or grappling for other whatever monies you might need to survive. But in our case, the first week, something hits us, we are, zero. You don't know where else you're going to get your next meal, stuff like that. And that's why we have this problem of asking for help every other time. And I think it's individual. I don't want to say it's a creative thing. The problem is that we are used to getting money every other time, or if you see you're in a certain program or a show, you feel it's doing so well, you forget that come February next year, it might not be there anymore. So you need to always plan. What if come December of 2020, I'm no longer in this project? What if?
Yeah.
So that you plan ahead, 50% of whatever you get, you put aside for when you're not
sure
in that program. Okay? Or say in the case of DJs, for example, most DJs work depend on crowds. Social distancing has been banned for I don't know until when. We might be living in Corona, I think, even after September, but chances are social gatherings might be limited again for the foreseeable future. So if your work is geared around meeting crowds, what happens?
I do agree with you that, in fact, you're speaking for me, and I'm happy that this is coming from a creative, other than this coming from me. And there's one thing I want to normalize, that whatever issues that the creatives are going through, the same issues others are going through. These are the me that I would call myself an SME, and any business enterprise, because we are told there is research that says that most SMEs, startups, may not see their fourth birthday. So even when we start off, we are not sure whether on the third year, after the fourth year again, we shall survive.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why, to be honest, even Ecobiz Sacco came up, because I got myself into a business. I had my 2 employees at the time, and I noted that there is no one who approached us to be members of a Sacco. And I told myself, this business, I'm not even sure whether it will survive the first 3 years. So the more reason then why we need to get to ourselves to save, so that after the 3 years, I may have kept something aside. If at all the business continues, well and good. I also have my buffer. Number 2, our youth, or we are workers. So I think you want to see the fruits of your work and your age. So as you grow older, what are you seeing also growing with you?
Yeah.
And if you're not earning and not putting money aside, then there is a problem there, because then we end up maybe aging, becoming poorer and poorer. Very unfortunate, maybe me as an SME, I'm not a celeb. So you're not likely to see me on the screens. I mean, I have no problem when you see me in a matatu. I mean, I don't have to take an Uber because I mean, I'm all right. But maybe this is different for a creative. That maybe the demands that are there, maybe that are expected of them by the society, then makes them maybe not to think that it's not about the future. Then becomes like
but
the second
it's
thing.
not even a necessary thing that you ought to be seeing that you're either driving or riding an Uber, stuff like that. It's a choice. If I come with a matatu to an event, you're the one who knows how financially you are doing yourself. But if you want to impress, that is the burden most, so to speak, celebs. There's a burden of wanting to prove or show people, to impress. 1 or 2 reasons might suffice that, yes, you have to look the part. It's good once in a while. But you should not go the extra mile just to impress someone. Alafu ukienda nyumbani, unabaki sasa ukiangalia mfuko yako ya 50 bob ndio imebakia, then you wonder, why did I spend all that just to impress? But if that is surely your limit, you think, if I do a tuk-tuk to a certain event, make it stylish. Choose a particular tuk-tuk with a certain color, blend with your outfit. Someone will say, now that is an entrance. And that's why we are creative. Lady Gaga's used to go with nyama ya nini, beef as outfits. Like tomorrow people are like, it's a creative way of doing it. You never know, maybe she woke up that day and she didn't find anything to wear. She just went to the butcher and katakata. I don't know. I'm just saying, do your thing and let it, catch up or whatever you want to say. Wacha ishike, watu waifuate. Waseme, by the way, that. But if you want to follow the crowd, whoever anabaki pale akiumia nani?
At the end of the day. Yeah. And we don't know whether they'll be coming another corona, maybe with a different name. Fortunately or unfortunately, it has found us, just like you said, all of us can be prepared. And whether you are an SME, you are a creative, you're in whatever industry right now, I think we are all finding ourselves in a place where we all have to start up. So in a sense, then, we have a level playing ground at the moment, and I believe this is where everybody needs to take advantage of this. Be it a creative, be it an SME, whatever profession or passion that you have, it's really just the time to be able to know what are my goals anyway. Am I just growing up, adding onto my ears, or there's a goal of maybe getting into my desired goals and meeting them. And goals must be clear, like they say all the time. And they might not even have to be very big goals. It could just probably be updating a camera like this to the next level, so that we'll be able to capture better and more images, and maybe you are able to charge higher as a result. And this is the opportunity that we offer. And as I speak to Cliff today, I'm speaking to him because he's a member of Ecobiz Sacco. So we are offering this opportunity so that most creatives can be able to, to know that there are others who are going and they knew this before. So if this message that Cliff has could be able to reach to you and make a decision then to start saving, then my message is home. At Ecobiz Sacco, what we do is that we'll give you a platform where you can save. And I know you can save with other financial institutions, but then there's another bigger picture that we give you. And this takes care of you as a creative, knowing that your incomes are erratic, just like me, a business person. Our incomes are erratic. At the moment, we are all down here. But then when you continue saving with the Sacco, even when you have an opportunity to take a loan, you take up the loan. As you continue to repay your loan, again you're saving. So by the time you're repaying your first loan, again because you're saving, your savings are growing. So by the time you finish repaying that first loan, your savings have grown. So if you're to borrow, say ×2 or ×3 of your savings, then you're borrowing a bigger amount, again for a bigger goal. So what will help you achieve is that you grow your goals. Like I said, there could be a smaller goal of maybe upgrading, say, the camera or whatever thing it is. So that is the first loan. So by the time you're repaying this loan, maybe in 1 year or 1.5 years, you will now know, by the time I finish here, I want to buy, say, I'm about to settle down, maybe, and I want to live in my own house. Where I come from, you buy plots of land. That's probably the best example I could give for now. So the second bigger loan, you want to buy a plot. That one, again, you repay, say, in 3 years. So by the time, again, your savings in first 18 months, the other 3 years, again, your savings have also grown. What am I saying? That in the end, this is what you can call your pension. We don't want to look for money from our friends, and I don't have friends who I'm easily able to call and they lend me. I don't know if that is where creatives, that they have an advantage. Maybe when they run broke, they have people that they can borrow. But there's no easier place to borrow than where your savings are. You're listened to, and then you're able to know, if I want 10K, if I want 30K, is it an urgent loan, is it an emergency? This is where you come. So we give you that opportunity to know that there's safety. There's some form of safety that you have when you know you have some savings somewhere. I keep telling people today, for instance, if I'm so stuck today and I need 100K, I don't need to have it in my pocket or in my bank account. I know I'll go to my Sacco, I apply. Maybe I wait for 1 day or 2 days and I have my money and I sort out whatever I wanted to sort out. That sort of comfort is what we want to give to the creatives and every SME who is out here. And I still want to carry on with this conversation of why creatives don't consider them as entrepreneurs. And now, Cliff, I want to ask you, now that creatives have no end, I mean, when you're a creative, you keep creating. during this pandemic, when we are all feeling down here, but all of us anyway, what is this that creatives can be able to do? In what space can they use their creativity now? Not necessarily to feel bad that things are down because they are down for us, but to make more, to do more, so that at least they can also make a little bit more.
Yeah. So as I said, they say, the English say, desperate moments call for desperate measures. And I think these are desperate moments for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think those people who are at an advantage, slight an advantage, are creatives. Because being a creative means you can sit down today and figure what you can do, say, tomorrow to earn a shilling or two. As I said earlier, the masks. They are a necessity right now for everyone to walk around, or rather just have a mask. If you can make a mask and earn 50 bob for every mask, and you're selling 10 a day, that's 500 bob.
Yeah.
Probably you reduce the cost of production here and there, but it's still some money. If you get 300 today, something you can provide a meal for your family, if you have a family, or for yourself. I'm sure there are ladies who watajua kusonga. It's an aspect of, between now and then, between now and going back to a certain project, if you are whatever project, if you're a musician, sure. If you are an actor, if you are whatever other form of creative. If you're a lady, there's kusonga. And I believe there are people who even do tailoring, necessary outfits that people might need now for the corona virus. And any other thing. Kuna watu wanafanya sijui kuchora, sijui nini. Anything.
Yeah.
Yes. Even cooking. Because you see now there are people who might not necessarily find time to cook because of whatever thing they're doing. But yeah, what's stopping you from making even a meal for 10 people? You don't have to do for hundreds of people. 10 people, do your calculations. If I'm selling every plate or whatever food at 100, well, that's 1,000. Okay, for 10 people. That's money. Groceries. I know 2 or 3 creatives around here who will volunteer to go to the market to buy groceries on your behalf. Okay. If you have a bicycle, ask a friend who has a bicycle. You'd rather even pay them 200 bob for the 2-3 hours. You're going to hire that motorbike up there, or even just a regular bicycle. Do deliveries, whatever money you make, share with them, or even send them. Okay. I'm sending you to deliver to 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Whatever money you make, there's like a percentage for you. Why not? There are many things you can do. Okay. I know 2 or 3 people who are now going online to advertise their skills, say in web design and stuff like that. There are companies that are still in business because their nature of business, as we say, is essential. Yeah. It's an essential service. So it means in a digital space where you need people to create websites, design blah blah blah, t-shirts, posters, whatever aspects of marketing. Yeah. So if that was not your main business, but now that is the place you are, why not do it? I'm not even ashamed of anyone who says that it's a barafu size.
So you're doing barafu?
No, I'm not. I'm saying I won't be ashamed if mtu anyambie ati atengeza barafu aanze kuona mbona niseme atengeza, because I know people who will be like nikionekana nauza barafu, what will people say? Mi bana ni star ni nini? There's a very good friend of mine who is also acting in the local TV station. I like his zeal and his lusciousness. He will sell fruits. He will go to the market and sell via the back of his car openly, and he will post this on Facebook and all social media platforms. Okay, confidently, and tell people, I am selling tomatoes, I am selling oranges. At the end of the day, you are the one who knows the needs you have at home. So, ukisema tu unaogopa, I'm feeling shy that I shouldn't be selling this. DJ Linium will see me, or whoever it is will see me selling oranges. That is up to you. At the end of the day, there is no. I don't know if you are hungry at home and you're sleeping. Where is the chef? Who will be like, mchana uliokuta kuuza vitu kwa sababu utaona haya. But when you're sleeping hungry, you are alone. So you'd rather sell tomatoes so that you are full and sleep without going to bed on an angry, empty stomach.
And angry at the same time. So hungry man is an angry man.
Okay, so then you have bad thoughts, of course, and there leads to depression and stuff like that. Yeah, so that would be my venture into whatever other skill set that you think you never explored before. Try something out. Try.
Now I have participated in a number of forums, and I personally have started one forum for the women, Lifting Women series. And we've been meeting today, today we've had our 14th series, and we came together as women in business so that we can share what we are feeling openly, because we found ourselves in very awkward moments. And these are some of the forums that give us sort of confidence and esteem to know that it's also okay not to feel okay. It sounds like then the artists don't have such a forum where they can share openly. Are you guys able to tell your friends that, hey manze, I don't have food, but I can't do that sort of. And because I think it's one thing to share openly, so that the other one also, when they get to hear you, then they know it's normal. Then eventually, all of you as a movement, you're able to know we are not going to live fake lives anymore. So do have such a forum, and especially during this time of COVID.
Not that I can talk about or know, I don't know. But in the other WhatsApp groups that I happen to be a member of course, people were asked to submit their names. If you had difficulties, of course, getting a million there, you will give your name so that you get some assistance. But you see, that's on a larger scale where someone has asked to help you. But I believe we need to create a culture where you can talk to a fellow artist, express yourself and tell them you're not okay, as you put it, and to actually appreciate the fact that if you're not okay, it is okay not to be okay. Yeah. So that when you share that with someone else, they can see if they're able to help you to get out of that trap, for example. But our major issue is the fact that we fear being perceived as failures. Yet, to some degree, we might be vulnerable and we are failing one way or another. But if we accept that we are not able to get ourselves out of a certain problem, or we are lacking, and accept the fact that I'm lacking, and share it with your friend or your colleague, maybe we can help each other. And I think maybe for those creatives who are out there, we can agree that it is important, especially right now, because there are people who are quiet, they're not on TV, they're not doing anything. Where are they? They were performing maybe somewhere on stage. Where are they? Apart from one or two that I know every Tuesday, or I don't know when, once a week, they put a show online. I think on Instagram or somewhere, they have a weekly show. Apart from that, Mombasa has a lot of creatives. So where are they right now? Are you checking on your fellow creative, a friend, so to speak, knowing how they are doing? Because you might be here and someone is going through a very tumultuous moment, very depressed, frustrated, not knowing where to go after now, this corona, not knowing where they're going to get the next meal. Do we know? You might not have so much, but even your 50 bob might help someone else to put a meal on their table. Okay? So I think we need to create that culture of accepting that if we are not doing okay, we need to talk to people about it. Not to feel like people will look at us as if, but you are a celeb, but you are people you say, hey, Clifford, where's the una pesa? Someone asks me for 1,000 or 2. If you tell them you don't have 1,000 or 2, they're like, you are a celeb, you're a director, you are a writer. Yeah.
You see on TV, your name.
You see every night I sit in my house and watching TV with my family, I always see your name.
Yeah, of course.
So surely you shouldn't be lacking. But you never know. Probably I squandered my money. Probably I've put my money elsewhere, so that when you ask me for money now, I might not be able to help you. But when you talk to me, probably I might not have it now, but maybe tomorrow. But most of us, we have problems that require sorting now.
There's one thing I've picked from you, and I think it has answered my question, why then creatives are not entrepreneurs or SMEs. It's because they fear to fail, they're afraid of failure, and they're also afraid of being taken to be vulnerable. And I think even when I share about the forum that we have where we can share that it's okay not to be okay, that is why then the creative will not have been such a forum, because then failure is not their forte. But entrepreneurs know that there's failure, not even once, not twice, and then we're even able to say about it confidently. And I think that is the topic that we need to discuss next in terms of, I think the creatives probably need to learn that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to fail sometimes, because then that is what makes the entrepreneurs. But you learn from the mistakes that are made, you learn from the failures, and maybe from there you get a gap where you can be able to provide a solution, not just for yourself, but for others, and that creates value, and that is what you sell. That's what you sell to the people as a solution, and they get money from you. I'm happy that we've had such a fruitful discussion, Cliff. I want to thank you for your time, and actually also for your openness to be able to share exactly what is happening in the industry. I have an interest to understand, because I feel the platform of Ecobiz Sacco then should be able to take creatives to that level. If it means we start from a forum, for instance, where people can easily get comfortable to discuss their failures. Even if maybe it's mixing the groups. Maybe I feel like the creatives need to be mixed with SMEs, so that they hear SMEs who look like they are doing it and making it, sharing how they were auctioned, how, all those things. And then it becomes normal for them, because going forward, our children, our families are getting into the creatives world. So when you don't get to know what you're doing, you guys, then we always then want to stop you. You're a testimony that creatives are entrepreneurs, and you don't even need to look on one end, but also you have to be deliberate. So thank you very much for your time. I think we'll be having this conversation more and more.
Thank you so much, and I am happy Ecobiz has focused on creatives. The biggest problem we've had for the longest time as artists is having banking or financial institutions accepting that we might not be able to provide, or what do you say if I can't give a title deed or whatever, a logbook for me to be given a loan. But maybe I might be bankable in one way or another. But for most people, they never looked at us as bankable individuals. So I appreciate the fact that Ecobiz, you're the ones who reached out to artists. Artists never even bothered to know that there is a circle out there that might be after their needs, looking after their needs. So much thanks to you.
Karibu sana. And even as you conclude, I wanted to share that the time that we went to visit the pet custom crew in Funzi, there's one guy who told me that, Wanjiku, what you have come to do is to match emotions with finance. For me, that's tough. So if you're able to match the emotions, because he told me, this is creative, this is my emotional side. As we snap, and now what you have come to do is to match the emotion with finance. So we are hopeful that that is what we're able to provide. And going forward, we shall be able to join, to reach out to the creatives and make them realize that they need to make a deliberate decision, like you have told us, to start saving and to become responsible over their monies and finance. Thank you.